In this video, we are going to learn how to add and edit menu items using Menu Setup and explore the additional options available on the General Menu Setup tab in the Restaurant Manager back office. I'm going to skip most of the introduction in this video, so if you have not yet watched the Menu Setup overview, it is recommended that you start there. Adding and editing menu items in Menu Setup is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. The first step in adding a new menu item is navigating to the menu group that the menu item belongs in. As you saw in the Menu Setup overview, the plus and minus signs are used to navigate the menu tree. I'm going to expand the food menu to display the menu groups and then expand appetizers. I have not yet added any items to the appetizer menu, so all of the 30 available items are listed as not defined. Clicking on the first not defined item will display the item setup options. There are three basic fields that need to be configured when adding a new menu item: the item name, item price, and prep area printer if needed. For this example, I'm going to add Super Nachos. Clicking in the item name field will allow me to enter Super Nachos for this item name. Next, we have to add the price of the item. There are 7 price levels displayed on the General Menu Setup tab. To add the item price, click in the first price level field, which in this case is the normal price level. Now you can enter the desired item price. Once you have entered the item price, be sure to press the Set All to Price 1 button. Pressing the Set All to Price 1 button is a very important step. There are 14 total available price levels in Menu Setup that can be configured for different times of day. Pressing Set All to Price 1 will make certain that the menu price is consistent through all price levels. Price levels will be covered in greater detail in an additional video. Now that we have the item name and item price, the last step is to define the prep area printers if needed. Clicking the drop-down arrow will display the currently configured prep printers. I'm going to select Kitchen, so my Super Nachos will print to the kitchen printer when ordered. If you are unsure which printer to use, or if you even need to select one at all, you can look at a comparable item that is already configured and select the same printers. That is basically it. Now we will be able to order Super Nachos from the appetizer group on the point of sale station. Just remember those 3 steps: item name, item price, and printer. Now that we have added Super Nachos, we can look at the additional options on the General Menu Setup tab. Just below the item name is the prep area description. This field can be used to change how Super Nachos will print to the prep area printers. For example, I could enter an abbreviated version like this. This prep area description will be printed in place of the item name on the prep printers, while the full item name will be shown on the point of sale station and customer receipts. Next, we have the in-stock quantity, which is currently set to 9,999. This means that you have an unlimited quantity available. This is a very useful option for items such as steaks. If, for example, you are featuring New York strips, you could count how many you had available and enter that number here. For this example, let's say that you have 36. Now the in-stock quantity of 36 will be displayed in parentheses after the menu item name on the point of sale stations. This will be reduced by 1 each time a New York strip is ordered. Your staff members will be able to quickly see how many are available, and if you run out, inform customers in a timely manner. This is a great way to easily give better information to your staff, but there is one downside. Once you reach a quantity of 0 in stock, the item will no longer be able to be ordered. This is exactly what you want to occur when you run out, except for in an instance when someone simply forgot to increase the quantity when more New York strips were delivered. Right next to the in-stock quantity, we have the inactive checkbox, and right next to that, a number field with a 1 in it that cannot be modified. This is a great time to discuss the importance of not deleting any information from Menu Setup and instead simply marking unneeded items as inactive. The 1 in the number field that cannot be modified is the item number. If I click on the next not defined item, this will switch to a 2. The system tracks and reports based on menu item number and not menu item name. If I have been selling Super Nachos for the past 6 months and run a sales report, I will be able to see the historical sales for item number 1, Super Nachos. If I delete this item, the sales information for Super Nachos is not deleted because the sales history is attached to menu item number 1, not the menu name Super Nachos. If I then enter a new item in the place of Super Nachos, let's say cheese sticks, and then ran a sales report, the report would show sales for cheese sticks even though the item was just added. That is because the system is displaying the sales information for item number 1 regardless of what the item name is. Instead of deleting a menu item, if you simply mark it as inactive, all of the historical reports will remain valid and show relevant information. Next, we have the schedule type, which will work the same as the group schedule type we saw in the menu setup overview. Clicking the drop-down arrow will show the available schedules. If you select a schedule, this menu item will only be available during the time defined in that schedule. If you would like more information on group and item schedules, there is a specific video on that subject. If you are using special categories for reporting purposes, you can click the Categories hyperlink and select the desired categories. Categories will also be covered in greater detail in a specific video. There are 3 remaining fields in the description area. These are the settings that pertain to the Write-On handheld. The unnamed field is the item abbreviation, which is used to order the item from a handheld. The locked checkbox indicates that this abbreviation cannot be modified directly by the system without user input. And lastly, pressing the Generate button will add the item abbreviation and automatically lock that abbreviation. Remember, these fields are only relevant when using the Write-On handhelds. Included in the Prices group is the Cost field. This is an awesome field that should be utilized by everyone. This is where you can enter your food cost for each menu item. If I go ahead and enter a food cost, you will see that the cost percentage of the menu item price is computed automatically for each price level. If, for example, you are offering super nachos for $2 less during the happy hour price schedule, you can see the cost percentage during happy hour as well. The button bitmap/color section can be used to make each item stand out on the point of sale stations. Pressing the ellipse button will allow you to select a bitmap image for this item. The point of sale system will attempt to fit the selected image to the button size. Checking the View Actual Size will force the point of sale system to show the image at its unmodified resolution. Generally, this setting is not necessary. Checking the Show Only Bitmap checkbox will hide the item name on the point of sale stations and only display the bitmap image. This is especially useful when utilizing full button size images with product logos. The color drop-down arrow can be pressed to choose the button color that will be displayed on the point of sale stations. By default, blue is selected for every menu item. Changing the color of groups of items or individual items that you wish to stand out can make navigating the point of sale stations easier, decreasing the order entry time. The last section is for prep area printers. We have already selected the kitchen printer as the primary printer for this item. It is possible to select 3 additional prep printers for this item to print to if desired. For example, we may also need to select an Expediter or an Expo printer for this item. If the prep area printers that you are using support 2 colors, the point of sale system by default will print menu items in black and menu modifiers in red. Checking the Print in Red checkbox will force this menu item to be printed in red. The Follow Menu Item and Steer Menu Item options are only used when configuring modifiers. Although there are many available options on the General Menu Setup tab, adding menu items is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. The item name, item price, and prep printer are the 3 primary options that must be configured when adding menu items. This concludes the General Menu Setup video tutorial.